people here opposing the teaching of torture, we've been asked to provide some time for the opposing view. We will now tolerate the world's only known singing CIA agent. Please welcome Mr. Geroge Shrub.
Oh, thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here and, of course, everywhere. Some of you haven't seen me for a little while. I've seen you, but I've been away. I was traveling around the world in, all 4 countries, actually. And everywhere I go, I'm glad some of you are sitting down because it's a bit shocking what I have to tell you. They hate us. Yeah, why is that? Are manipulating their economies and once in a while overthrowing their governments. I mean, these things, of course, they're ambivalent about. But our freedom, that's what they hate, isn't it? And that's why we've had to hide it. And I do want to apologize for the fact that we had to destroy the Bill of Rights in order to save it, but these are the things that happen in wartime. These are the times that try men's souls. Fortunately, I sold mine quite some time ago. Well, I needed the money. They say money's the root of all evil, but a man needs his roots. Anyhow, I did, and it could have been worse. I think you've lost, what, Amendments 1, 4, 5, and 6? That's it. Count them on one hand. And it's only temporary. It's only for the duration of the war, which is permanent, Is that my ride already? I have to step this up just a little bit. I've heard a lot of talk this weekend about the fact that if we didn't have war machines, we wouldn't have to put oil in them. Well, some of you people, I'm sorry, you have a military-industrial complex. That's all there is to it. But some of you have been putting your second SUV in the garage one day every 2 weeks to save energy. Then what happens? Then the terrorists have already won, you see. So, and there are terrorists here. I know some of you think the terrorists are over there, but the terrorists, your father, who are in one of those houses over there, he worked down to Venezuela, which is, by the way, a foreign name. Anyhow, he was down there, convinced their president down there not to send any more soldiers here to learn stuff. And they say they teach torture here. That's what you're trying to tell me. We go by the book in this place. If we teach torture, we do it by the book. None of this improvising on some of you antichrists and all the... Look at the diverse people you have. Women. I mean, it's wonderful to see people working together. And the women actually had a demonstration of their own up in Washington. And you know what? They pulled that off without any help. That was an amazing thing. Look at that. And the gays and thespians were up there trying to put a condom on the Washington Monument, trying to stop that social disease, pentagonorrhea. You all know all about it. Anyhow, I was asked to write a song in defense of the most oppressed majority that we have, which is, of course, the SUV owners. Can you hear that guitar? Yeah? Can you hear the voice? Have you heard anything I've said? Because I'm not used to this type of microphone that you can see, Okay, here we go. I like to drive in America. I like to strive in America. I'm so alive in America, polluting more than Eric and Erica. 8 feet high, enough to look down on mere mortals driving their mere cars. You may say I'm a dreamer, 'cause I visualize emphysema. 7 selves a swarming, causing global warming, melting polar ice caps, raising oceans, perhaps. But while your fuel-efficient mini car's mired in the mud, my SUV will rise above the flood. Admittedly, my SUV will cause us all to roast, but it will only take a day to drive from coast to coast. Let me just say this. I know it's been a great pleasure to be here with you and share my point of view with you, so that you won't need your own, basically. I know you've had a great difficulty knowing how to live up to the responsibilities of citizenship in what we now have, that we now recognize as, of course, an empire. And I just want to say this is a new kind of empire in history, the first ever non-imperialist empire. I know some of you here don't believe that, and I do know your phone numbers. But however, let me just leave you with this thought: how to fulfill your responsibilities in such an empire. Nobody ever said it better than our dear departed president. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do to someone else's country. Have a good day. Thank you.
Dave Lippman. Lisa Sullivan Rodrigas, a member of Marino Lay Missionaries.
Good afternoon. I have indeed traveled a long way. It's been a long journey, and I just want to say that journey began at a small Quaker school in Indiana, and I want you to raise your hand and give a big cheer for Earlham College. Earlham's present today at college, which shows that peacemaking is indeed a verb, and Earlham is where my journey began. But my journey also began at the death of Ida Ford and Maura Clark, two Marino sisters who were slaughtered by troops trained at this school. But to show that death is not the victor, it's life, I made the option, as did many Marinolers, lay missioners, sisters, priests, to walk with the people of Latin America. And their journey lives on in so many people like myself who have chosen to walk with these people. And today I want to share with you two important messages of hope from the people of Venezuela, with whom I've shared my life for 17 years and raised my children with these people. Pachi and Miguel. I want to share their journey. It was a journey of hope, a dream for hope, for changing their society, much as we hope for today, by means of nonviolence. The Venezuelan people made an option for hope, for a society of justice. More than 5 years ago, they went to the ballot box to choose a new blueprint for a new society in which their resources, especially their oil resources, would reach all of their society, not just the 5 or 10% who had received these resources until that time. But as we all know, when these interests are shared with the larger majority, there are others who begin to question what is happening. And this is what happened in Venezuela. Strong groups such as the media and corporations, backed by money, which we knew came from here, funded much of the opposition to this political project of the Venezuelan people. And in April of 2002, after strikes had failed to get rid of this government, after media blitz to totally criticize day after day this government, they took it in their hands to organize a coup. And 100 people were killed, and a coup took place, and President Hugo Chavez was removed from the palace. And I'll let you guess, who were the organizers? Where did they graduate, the organizers of this coup in 2002? School of the Americas, right. But the story doesn't end there. The Venezuelan people, in less than 36 hours, took the streets in every city and every town and demanded that their voices be heard, that their democratically elected president be returned, and he was. The voice of the people was the voice, again, of life, not the voice of death. But again, the story doesn't end there. I just want to share another very important aspect of what's happening in Venezuela, which is important to us today. As it was mentioned, Roy Bourgeois had the idea, if this is an option, if this government is opting for life, maybe we should talk to President Chavez and ask him not to send any more Venezuelan troops to the SOA. And sure enough, we were able to get a meeting with Chavez. We were able to speak on public national TV. And when we asked President Chavez, would he consider this, the first words out of his mouth was, this is not the school of the Americas, this is the school of assassins. And I will take to heart your request. And so later he invited us to a private meeting in which Roy and President Chavez were able to share their own journey, their own stories of difficulties such as going to jail for a cause, And at that moment, we shared with President Chavez 2 photos that we had at our Maryknoll Center house. One was of Sister Ida Ford, and one was of Sister Maura Clark. And we gave President Chavez these photos with the request that he keep their spirit of life in his decision to see what he would do with his troops. And a few weeks later, he notified us that Venezuela is the first country to decide that they will send no more troops to the SOA. So viva Venezuela libre.
Now let's bring back Michael Hoffman, who has served as a Marine in Iraq in 2003. He now works to end that war and bring his colleagues back home through the 4-month-old Iraq Veterans Against the War. Michael Hoffman. All right, let's give him a warmer applause. Que se oiga.
Thank you. Now I stand in front of you not just as a member of Iraq Veterans Against War, but also as a member of Veterans for Peace. And every member of VFP here, please raise your hand. Let them recognize you amongst them. And the veterans being here is important, because just like everyone else has been here telling the truth about what's been going on in the School of Assassins, the veterans can speak the truth about war and what has truly been going on there. This is nothing new. Smedley Butler spoke out almost a century ago about the horrors of war and what the real reasons were, and veterans continue to do it in this day. Because when veterans speak out and tell the realities of these wars will stop. We will tell you the stories that the media does not tell you. When the media talks about the war in Iraq, they talk about huge numbers and these clinical analysis that no one really understands. They don't tell you the real story. They don't tell you what it's like to go out there and open fire on a crowd of unarmed demonstrators because somebody made a stupid mistake. They don't tell you what it's like to watch your friend die in front of you after getting shot by a sniper and knowing his life could have been saved if that government cared 1 ounce about our troops' lives. They don't tell you what it's like to come back and know that the blood of innocent civilians are on your hands. And if people knew these things, if these truths were told, this war would be over right now. So that is our goal now. We must go out and tell the truths we know, the truths we've witnessed, and let everyone else know. We cannot deny these facts anymore. We must tell the truth and end this war and close the School of Assassins.